So tomorrow we'll see the 70th anniversary of D-Day, the Allied invasion of France during World War II. Among those who will be remembering that is Jim Radford from Lewisham. He found himself in the midst of the battle just a few weeks after leaving school and believes he was the youngest person to take part. He returned to Normandy last week with our reporter Catherine Carpenter to tell his story.
The first time Jim Radford saw this beach, he was 15. He talked his way on board a deep-sea rescue tug as a galley boy. His first voyage saw a coming of age like no other.
I had no idea where we were going. I would have asked, but I was so seasick that first week I couldn't. And the skipper called us down the forecastle and said, "Lads," he said, "guess where you're going tomorrow?" "France," he said, "you're going to France." And I said, "And they got Germans over there." "Yes, they have." So that's when we knew that we were going.
4,000 ships and thousands of smaller craft.
Unwittingly, he'd found himself in the midst of the Allied invasion, part of a convoy crossing the Channel for Gold Beach at Arromanches. His tug was towing the hulks of old ships. Others hauled giant prefabricated blocks called Phoenix caissons. They were components of the Mulberry Harbour, which would allow troops, vehicles and supplies to land on the bloody battlefield.
I see faces, the people I saw close up, because it wasn't just the beach, the water was full of bodies too. I can see their faces very clearly and sort of etched in your memory. You can't forget them, and you wonder, what their lives had been and what their lives would have, more importantly, what their lives could have been, would have been if they'd lived. All that waste. For every hero's name that's known, 1,000 died as well.
Jim has sung about the horror of that day in the sea shanties for which he's become known.
And many a mother wept that day for the sons they loved so well. Men who cracked a joke and cadged the smoke as they stormed the gates of hell.
The war had already taken his eldest brother, Jack, lost at sea at 18. Their father spent his second war on a dredger, and Jim's other brother, Fred, was also on a rescue tug on D-Day. So you didn't have weather like this, did you?
We didn't, no. It was a bit choppier than this on D-Day.
How does it make you feel now when you see families here enjoying it? It's a very different place.
It is very different, and that's a bit emotional to see the place as an ordinary seaside resort when I first saw it as a battlefield.
And you get a sense of just how massive these bits of debris are.
This is a small one. This is a small one. The Phoenix blocks were 4 or 5 times the size of that, and like tower blocks.
The lines of caissons that remain today give a sense of the size of the harbour here. They enclosed an area equivalent to around 1,000 football pitches, creating what was to become the busiest port in the world at the time. Today it's a place of pilgrimage, the D-Day Museum making sure stories like Jim's aren't lost, even when there are no more veterans to tell them.
We owe them so much. We owe our freedom, our lives. It is so important to us.
And it seems to the tourists, desperate for a snapshot of history and the chance to say thank you. But on the 70th anniversary of D-Day, Jim says he'd prefer it if it was the dead who were remembered. He believes he must be the youngest veteran of the invasion and feels it's his duty to keep their memory alive.
As the years pass by, I can still recall the men I saw that day, who died upon that blood-soaked sand, where now sweet children play. And those of you who were unborn, who've lived in liberty, remember those who made it so on the shores of Normandy.
Jim